Welcome to the first ever Coaster Hour interview where I'm going to be talking with and asking questions to people within the amusement industry. And with me today is my first ever interviewee, Jeanine, who is part of the family that owns Adventureland Long Island in New York. Before we get into this interview, if you could introduce yourself and tell people who you are, that would be absolutely fantastic.
So thanks for having me. Yes, my name is Jeanine Gentile. I work at Adventureland on Long Island. It's an amusement park located right in Farmingdale, locally right on Route 110. And I've been with the company for since 2017. So I've been here full time since then. And before that, I've been here since I was 14 years old. I am currently 26 years old. So Adventureland is pretty much all I know.
Pretty awesome. So with that being said, I'm going to go into my first group of questions, which is more to get us to know a little bit more about you and Adventureland Long Island, because a lot of my viewers are from different parts of the US, different parts of the world, so they might not be as familiar with your park. So with my first question is, what is Adventureland and what sets it apart from the other parks in the New York area where you are in?
So Adventureland is an amusement park. We are located in Farmingdale on Long Island. What sets us apart from other parks is that we are very family oriented. Our goal is family fun for everyone. And that motto is really at like the heart of all decisions that are made here at the park. That's something that is important to us, is keeping that family aspect alive, regardless if it's on a ride or in the arcade or buying a snack or something like that. Everything here is family oriented. And I think that's kind of what's so special about our park, that obviously other parks are all about family, but we just have like a different element to that family aspect. And it's a family owned and operated park. So, we get a lot of families coming to enjoy our family park, and it's kind of like our family welcoming your family into the park to just have a great day together. So that's something that's definitely special and a little bit unique about us, that sets us apart from others, is that whole family aspect.
Awesome. So my next question I have is asking about your role in running the park. And so with that, what does a day in the job for you look like?
So I work in the group sales office. So I do a lot of kind of like the behind the scenes, actually. You probably won't see me outside in the park very often. I do booking the groups and, getting the groups all set up for their trips to the park. I do a lot with the social media. So a lot of all the posting and sharing and commenting and all that kind of stuff. I do post and do all of that. I do a little bit of everything, anything on the behind the scenes aspect. That's kind of where I come into play. So keeping the park going and the day-to-day things that you don't see in your typical amusement park, that's pretty much where I am. I'm on the inside, the back end, doing all the stuff that you don't see. You don't really see it day to day, but if someone's doing it, I'm doing it. So yeah, that's pretty much a day in my life at the park.
Awesome. So my last question, this is a little more just for a fun question. And you can go into rides that are either both at Adventureland or somewhere else. But growing up, what were some of your favorite rides?
Favorite rides? I was always a roller coaster person. I always had that like thrill seeking part of me in me. So I always loved the roller coasters, anything that went upside down or all those like corkscrews, all those like crazier the better. Now, obviously, as I've gotten older, I guess, I'm not sure I really like roller coasters that much anymore. But growing up, definitely the roller coasters were my go-to. That was always the first ride we ran to in any amusement park, whether it was here at Adventureland or any other, whether it was out of state or anywhere it was. The roller coaster was always the first one we went to.
Awesome. Obviously, my viewers, we are mostly coaster enthusiasts, so we love hearing that. Great to hear that for sure. My next three questions are going to be a little more specific from me. This is about Adventureland. So as you mentioned earlier, Adventureland has been owned by your family, and it has been owned by your family for generations. So if you could give us some of the history of the park and how your family got involved, that would be great to hear.
Yeah, sure. So Adventureland is family owned and operated. We are this coming season 2022 is actually going to be our 60th year as an amusement park. So we'll be celebrating our 60th birthday here on Long Island. And it's been in our family for as long as I can remember. My grandfather saw an ad in a paper years ago, and it was to get involved in the restaurant. And him and his brother did just that. They took advantage of that ad. They got involved in the restaurant aspect of the park. And from then on, it just kept growing. They got more involved in the park aspect, and then they took the games aspect. And before you know it, they were in the rides aspect, and they have, more than just the restaurant as they started out with. Years and years ago, before he even got involved, Adventureland here was actually a farm. They grew like potatoes and broccoli. It was a farm here. So that's pretty crazy to think about, that like these rides are just sitting on a farm that what was once a farm. So that's kind of a cool fun fact that not many people realize about the park here. But then again, yeah, back to the family part. I am the third generation to be involved with the park. So I work very closely with my dad and my uncles, a lot of our cousins. I have my two brothers are here at the park as well. And the three of us, me and my two brothers, are very involved in the day-to-day operations and making work run as a park should run. So it's great. It's something special to be able to work with your family. Not many people that I talk to anyway can do it. They always, kind of make faces when I say that I work day and day with my family. But I wouldn't trade it for the world. I love it. And being involved in a family business is something special, and I will cherish that forever.
Yeah, that's incredible to hear. I didn't even know about it being on, it used to be what it used to be on a farm. That's crazy. And also congratulations on 60 years. That is quite the accomplishment. So great story to hear about for sure. But I'm going to move on to my next question, which is something that is more recent. Obviously with COVID, this affected a lot of parks, and it actually closed Adventureland for over a year. I'd like to say about 18 months, if I'm correct on that. Yep. So what was done while waiting to reopen the park, and how was getting ready like once you were allowed to reopen?
So COVID obviously affected everyone, businesses, families, individuals, everyone almost in the world was affected in some way, shape, or form. But yes, us here at Adventureland, we were closed an entire season. We never got to open our doors at all in 2020. So it was challenging. It definitely was a huge challenge to make it from point A to point B, and with zero income, like literally zero. So it was challenging. We had to kind of find ways to be creative and help generate some sort of income. One, to just pay the basic bills that we had to pay, and two, to pay the full-time staff that we had. I mean, it really, we kind of we thought we would open early on in like July, the July 8th date that came and went real quick, and we never were even mentioned in anything. And then we were a little hopeful that we would have, at least August. Let's at least get open for August. We'll get half of our season in. August came and went. And then people were saying, oh, maybe October, you'll open in October. And by that point, our season is done. We are only open until the end of October. So at that point, it was kind of like a lost cause, kind of. So in the meantime, though, we had to be creative, and I applaud all of our staff here for doing what we did, and making it to the other side of the COVID craziness. What we did, we had some drive-in events in our parking lot. Of course, it was all socially distanced, and masks and gloves and all COVID protocol were in place for the time being. We did drive-in movies, drive-in concerts. We had some drive-out workout classes in our parking lot. And during the holiday time, we actually did have it was called Ginger Bells. And it was a holiday event. You came to the park and in our restaurant, and you were able to decorate a gingerbread house. We had Santa for socially distant pictures. Some meals were all served. So that really was a great holiday event, and kind of kept our spirits up here at the park, kept the public spirits up to bring a holiday event that was safe and, of course, family focused. But but yeah, it was a challenging year all around. And, all these drive-in events and the gingerbread event, it just kept us busy, kept us sane, and helped pay a few bills to get us to the other side. So by no means was it an easy time for any of us, but together we came together and we were able to do it. And not only would we have been able to do it with our staff, we would never have been able to do it without Long Island's support. Them coming out to support these events and being there for us made it that much easier to get a little bit of normalcy, to get out and enjoy ourselves and our families and our friends at a time that I think we all needed it tremendously.
That's incredible that you were able to adapt with the drive-in movies and with the drive-in events and the socially distanced events. It really seems like the places that were able to adapt were the places that kind of have made it through so far. So it's great to hear that. And it's also good to hear that you had the local support behind you. So that's got to be pretty big. So great to hear about that. And then my last question is looking towards the future. You recently announced, or Adventureland recently announced, that you were going to be getting Fireball next year, which will be the first ever rollerball coaster in North America. So my question was, what made that ride model appeal to you and your family and led to you ultimately getting it?
So Fireball was actually supposed to be an addition to the park for the 2021 season. Obviously COVID hit, and when it came time to make payments and all sorts of stuff for the ride, COVID was obviously, we were being affected by COVID. So the ride manufacturer was nice enough to work with us and give us back some of the deposits and whatnot. And so we kind of put a hold on the Fireball, the rollerball plans at that time. Fast forward to 2022, we had a good season and we were financially ready to make the commitment to them. And we felt that they were able to make a commitment to us to give us some of that money back. But we wanted to keep that commitment with them that we had, already kind of started with them. So we did just that. We had them, we moved forward. We made the decision to move forward with that particular ride. And what was the question? How did we get led to this ride? We actually saw it at a trade show. There's the IAAPA trade show in November each year. And it was back in 2019. We saw it at the trade show, and it's kind of when we started thinking about it. Oh, that would be a good fit, the sizing of it, the family aspect of it. And so we've been thinking about this ride for years now, when you think that back from 2019 and here we are in 2022. So this has been a commitment that we've been waiting to make. Obviously you just had to wait for the right time. But those trade shows are important to our industry. That's kind of where we see what's out there, what's new, what's coming. And that's where we first saw it. And we, had some conversations at the trade show. And then we had some conversations internally when we got back from the trade show. And everyone just felt that it was a right fit for our park. And so we're really excited about it. We're really excited we're able to bring it to the park and again, help out the ride manufacturer, not help out, but keep that commitment to them. RES is the ride manufacturer, and we're really excited about it. We can't wait. It's a great way to celebrate our 60th birthday this year. So it's something we are all looking forward here, and can't wait to have it debut this spring.
Absolutely. And I love hearing that you basically found out about it or saw it at IAAPA. That's really awesome, because a lot of us I've covered the event, kind of the cool stuff that's revealed and stuff. So it's really awesome to hear when we get to hear from parks and other places that the reason why they got these rides is from looking at them at IAAPA. So I really appreciate you going into that. And for my last group of questions, these were ones gathered from viewers. This was through YouTube community post and Instagram, and I have slightly reworded some of these, but I thought they were really good. So our first question is from Coaster Shardark, and his question was, where do you want this park to be in the next few to several years? So you can go into areas of improvement, emphasis, or anything like that, basically.
That is a good question. It makes you really think where where you want to be. But I would say our main goal is, I know I touched upon it already, but family, just keeping this park with its family atmosphere. Obviously we want to keep growing it. I mean, I think that's everyone's goal, is to kind of grow your business and your community here and everything. But family is so important. If you don't keep that, it's something that we've built this park on so far. And if we were to ever lose that touch of it, I just think it would have a totally different feel to our park. So just bringing more family things, whether it's a ride, it's something as simple as like painting a mural on the wall that families can take pictures, or so simple. Like, it doesn't have to be so extravagant to the extent of a new ride every season, but just keeping that family aspect and growing on that. I mean, families are always growing, so it's not, you're getting younger families who are new to, maybe they haven't been to Adventureland, but they're having their 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds come, and it's just, to us, that's a very important aspect. So I would just say to keep growing the family aspect, never lose that importance and that special touch to the park.
Absolutely. Like, if you're more catered towards families and that's what you're going for, you got to keep that, because you go in a different direction. That probably wouldn't work out probably super well, but that definitely seems to be a good direction to go. So I appreciate that. And then we have our second question from Canobie Coaster. He has been to the park, I think probably a few times now, actually, if not several times. And he was wondering, with Adventureland being so compact, a lot of the times when you have to add new rides, you have to replace existing ones just due to the amount of space you have. So how do you decide how and when a ride should be replaced or removed?
A lot of we've been getting a lot of that question lately, actually. So that's funny you ask, but that sometimes the rides just decide for themselves that it's time for them to go. Obviously, safety is number one before all. And obviously the older a ride gets, it gets worn and torn. And some rides are so old that like parts might not even be made anymore for that particular ride. So safety is at the core of all of those decisions, obviously, when it comes to rides, because because it's obvious, safety is most important. But that's pretty much how you kind of decide when, the older rides are starting to teeter their lifetime, out in a park, that that's an important decision, or an important aspect to take into consideration when getting a new ride. For our park, yes, we are a compact, we're not a huge park. We have a specific, landscape that we're working within. And so this, not to say the smaller the ride, but like the smaller footprint of a ride that gives you a lot, a bang for your money. It kind of, those kind of rides work for our park. And sometimes it's not even getting rid of a ride, but more so moving rides around to make space for a particular ride. And that's kind of what, with Fireball, we moved some things around and we did get rid of others. So it was kind of a combination of both of those, moving things around. And again, it was time to get rid of certain ones because of their, safety for everybody. So I guess the easy answer would be safety. When it comes, the older the ride, the, not to say not safer it is, but, you just have to keep that into consideration. And spacing is obviously important to every amusement park. You want to use all the space you can and make the most of everything. So those two would be my number one answer to that.
Awesome. And just like from seeing your rides and hearing people's reviews, it definitely seems like, especially with the newer rides, you really are getting like the best out of you can, the best of what you have to work with space wise. So I love hearing about that. And moving rides around, I've heard that happen before. But I don't know if it's too common for a lot of other parks. So that was interesting to hear about that for sure. Our last question comes from Imperial Coasters. This is also related to Fireball, but they were wondering, how did you who and how did you come up with the name and theme of Fireball?
So yeah, that's who we've actually been getting a lot of with the new release of the new ride and everything. So we actually, again, we were supposed to get the Fireball back in 20 for the 2021 season. So when those plans all, got halted and put to a pause, it kind of gave us obviously more time to think about what we really wanted for this ride. At first, I think when we saw a mock-up of it, it happened to be like red and yellow. And when we were looking at it, someone was just like, "Hey, it kind of just looks like a ball of fire." And we were like, they were right. Like maybe we could run with that. And that's exactly what we did. We ran with that one comment that was just at a table of us, and we were looking at the ride, and different angles of it, different color schemes of it, and that one color scheme happened to stick out. Someone made a comment, and that's kind of how it happened. That's where Fireball came from. We played around with it. Do you want like ball of fire? Do we want fireball? 1 word, 2 words? And that's really how Fireball came to be. Just a simple conversation, a simple, round table of people hanging out, looking at the new ride. And that's how Fireball was born. So yeah, though you never know what you're going to get out of any little conversation. Might not seem like a big conversation, but every conversation is important.
Absolutely. And that's actually, I do really like the name. I think it also really fits, one with the color scheme, but also with the little swinging motion the ride has. I think it certainly fits. So really appreciate you going into that. So with that being said, I would like to just say thank you so much, Jeanine, for coming on and taking your time to do this. It was really awesome to hear some insight from Adventureland from you. And I just wanted to say best of luck to you and everyone at Adventureland for next season and beyond. So are there any last things you want to say before I end this?
No, not really. I mean, you kind of touched about a little bit of everything, which is awesome. Just if you ever get a chance to visit the park, remember that family aspect is at the heart of it all. So bring your family, bring your friends, and just have fun. We're all kids when we're at an amusement park, so let loose, act like a kid, and just have fun for the day.
Absolutely. It seems like a really fun place to go to. I do want to go eventually. I haven't been to New York yet, but it certainly will be on my list of places to go to whenever I visit. But with that being said, once again, thank you so much for coming on. And for those of you watching this interview, if you could share this video on social media, that would be huge in growing this interview series, as I want to bring more people on who work within the amusement industry for interviews, and sharing this video will help out a lot. If you have someone in mind you would like me to interview in the future, let me know in the comments down below as well. With all of that said, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time here on Coaster Hour.